We are doing a little add-on to the June videos because it is a time when change and transformation start to take place. The intense, deep changes Pluto in Aquarius and the group energy, the group consciousness going through collectively, and a timeline of what we can realistically expect to experience, expect to see. And so let's begin there. In 2026, from August 12th to December 10th. Now, Pluto will do this for the next 9 years, where it has these very extreme times. This out-of-bounds cycle is quite unique, quite rare, and I usually never use the word rare. It started in 2025. So it goes from 2025 to 2035. And this event for us is so rare that this Pluto won't be going out of bounds for thousands of years. Like, that is how special this time is. This cycle went on the last time between 1775 and 1796. Fascinating, isn't it? When you think back in history, 1775 and 1796. And that represented a time of chaos, a time of revolution, a time of reformation, where the old system, the old order collapsed, and people rise in power against oppression and control. That intensifies all the Aquarius themes, which is a drive to break down the systems that run society. And that would include the technology that we rely on. So when we see that Uranus is going to be at 4 degrees, Neptune at 4 degrees, and there's that mini trine, keeping technology in mind would probably be a good idea. Probably be good to keep in mind that, oh, snap, maybe there is a little something that happens, and maybe there's some like deceptive behind the scenes thing that's part of it. Or it could just be all the goddamn data centers where people are saying, hey, look at what's happening. Like, this is our drinking water. This is not okay. So hidden patterns of corruption will come to the surface, and we've been seeing that, as well as positive energies that have been repressed that now need to be reintegrated. It intensifies the evolutionary pressure to change, and it could manifest as a confrontation with fate and enemies, especially when the demand for change is met with resistance, or if it's denied. Pluto digs out the truths and the secrets, exposing the rotten foundations of systems that are ready to fall. So we are likely to see the end of the rule of the plutocrats, of the tyrants, and leaders who abuse their power. The potential for civil unrest and even civil war rises in places where people have become disenfranchised, fractured, and uprooted almost anywhere. Unfortunately, this change isn't smooth. It's unpredictable. People are going to likely resist for different reasons, especially those who have the most to lose if the old ways go away. So one way or another, the old system, the way of it being, has to die to make way for the new system. And the beauty of this is that we as a people, as humanity, are put in a wonderful position where we can create what we want this new system to be, which is why it is important for us to understand really clearly what we value and who we value and what's important, and how do we want to reshape, how do we want to collectively create the future? How do we collectively want to create the new societal systems? This whole process can create confusion, can create a period of feeling like we're in two different realms, living between different timelines. Um, watching your old world crumble while new world is beginning can be unstabilizing. Might be a little bit of anxiety, to say the least. There might be a period of emptiness, because when the old breaks away and the old is no longer existing, there's that process of, okay, so who's going to take the place? Who's going to step up? What is this going to look like? Who is that going to be? And so there's a lot of anticipation. There's a lot of questions. So there may be an increase in political and spiritual awakenings as people rise in power. Lots of new ideas and surprising solutions to old problems. The new potentials, the exciting potentials, will need to be acted on in the most conscious way possible. The revolution will only work if the people stop sitting around and waiting for somebody else to take charge and to tell them what to do. It is a time where people must realize, must come together and literally understand we are here for a reason at this time. It is a very special time to create the future. We know what doesn't work. We know what we don't want. How many of us have sat and thought seriously about what we want that new world to look like? It is a time likely of internal collapse, maybe rebellions, and reform. Perhaps even wise leaders will listen to the needs of the people. Perhaps. The question is, where are those wise leaders? How many can we find? So the big thing here is to understand how rare this is, how important it is to not be in the victim mentality, how important it is to understand the power of the collective mind, how important it is to network, to communicate, and to be clear on what we want going forward. We know that the old greed cycle must end. We know that we want a future where we want to coexist together, where we honor all life as sacred, especially the plant and the animal kingdom and the earth herself. So Pluto out of bounds can be a time that can be stressful. It will challenge the old value systems. The Pluto energy isn't just about destroying, but it's about creating as well. Remember, the phoenix must rise. The phoenix shall rise. The phoenix does rise. But at first, things kind of got to go away first. And so we have to really stand up and be clear about what is no longer acceptable and reclaim our power. And so that is another big lesson of the Pluto energy, is it's not just about electric and oil and batteries and, money, that kind of power and war, but also individually our authenticity and showing up in the collective with our authentic power and being aware of what is our power and when do we lose power, like literally, energetically, that power system that is part of who we are as a human being, existing in multiple realms at one time, in the, which we do. So many layers, emotional body, the energetic body, the soul body, and understanding the real power and the moments of when we ask for help, when we are connecting. And Pluto can show us, if we haven't connected to that deeper part of our being that seems to be almost hidden, that soul center, Pluto hopefully can help increase that ability for some, because when we connect with that soul energy, our own soul, once we're there and we're doing that, and we basically are saying to the soul, you're in control. I'm taking orders from you, from my own soul. But once we make that connection, we then have the ability to connect soul to soul collectively. So I hope this Pluto out of bounds south this Pluto cycle that we're in, I hope it gives you some answers. I hope it gives you more things to think about. And I leave you also with intention. A big deal is your intentions. So whether we act on some of the things that we believe in, whether we, and I mean like some of the negative parts of our personality, the shadow stuff, whether we take action or not is one thing. But even the things that we don't take action with, that we kind of wish we hadn't done, right? What about the things where our intentions are really just not in the best place? Keep that in mind going forward, because our mind energy is amped up. Some people even feel like they're manifesting a lot faster than they ever would, or they're manifesting for the first time in their life. So be aware of your intentions. It's not so much about you taking that action. It's about that focused thought and being in the moment and being so zeroed in on something and making sure we're being very intentional in a way that pays us, back, where we get dividends. Otherwise, if we aren't going to get dividends from those intentions, it's going to actually leave us bankrupt. We're going to actually have a negative hit on the true value and the true power bank that we have. And we don't want to do that. At least I don't think anybody wants to do that. Not consciously anyway. And so consciousness and being aware of one's intentions are more important now than ever before. So I hope this helps.